I'm Dawn Robinson, financial planner at Barnum Financial Group, and we're on back on WBLQ AM 1230 Westerly, Rhode Island, listening to Common Sense with Dawn. If you have questions or comments about this interview with Karen Etchells, you can reach me on Facebook at Dawn Johnson Robinson at Barnum Financial Group. Before we move on to my weekly comments, I'm speaking with Karen Etchells, owner of Innovast Digital Marketing. It should be super easy to review, share, and comment on this interview with your friends, neighbors, or community members over social media. And if you can't figure out how to do that, consider calling Karen Etchells. I know that Karen would really appreciate it if you liked and shared this interview about her. Certainly, I want Karen to have as much sharing as possible on social media to help spread the message about how much experience Karen has with social media. I'm hiring her for my own social media management. You can reach Karen on Facebook at Innovast Digital Marketing, on LinkedIn by searching for Innovast-Digital-Marketing, on Twitter at Innovast LLC, and on Instagram at Innovast Digital Marketing. Her website is innovast.com, and she insists that you put https:// before innovast.com. You can reach her by phone at 860-634-3836 or by email at karen@innovast.com, INNOVAST. Let's see what Karen has to say. So Karen, we're sitting here on this lovely evening in the studio. It doesn't feel like a beautiful evening when you're sitting in the studio, though, does it? It just feels like the two of us sitting in a closet.
Well, kind of.
So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate you coming down this evening and sharing a little bit about yourself with me. I've enjoyed the last couple of weeks of getting to know you better. Yes. So I find the story that you tell about how you got your name of your company pretty interesting. Would you share it?
Sure. I worked in the year 2000 for a software development firm, and the name of it was Innovast Corp. And they went out of business about 9 months after I started with them. and when they went out of business, about 6 months later, I don't know what struck me, but I decided to check on the name and see what they did with it, and it was available.
And you were telling me that they had a lot of inflows coming into that?
Right. So the name was Innovast, and I just thought it was a really cool name. I mean, it's not really a word, but it suggests being very innovative, and vast, so it's limitless. And they had done quite a bit of website work through the previous years, and so they had a lot of incoming links, which is something that Google favors and will boost your site when you have a lot of incoming links. And I purchased the name, and not knowing really at the time what I was going to do with it, but kind of thought it was a smart thing.
I think, and it turned out to be an okay deal, right?
Oh, sure.
It turned out to be an okay deal. So tell us what your business does and how long you've been doing it.
Sure. I've been doing this work for 23 years now, starting out in web development. And so at this point in time, I offer website development on WordPress. I do content marketing and social media management.
And your tagline is one of my favorite.
My tagline is engage visitors and get results.
And you are very good at doing that.
I think so.
Yeah, you are. So share with me and all of us, what's the most amazing thing that's happened to you in your business?
So the most amazing thing that has happened to me so far, and I started Innovast in 2015, but last fall we started putting out a presentation called the Next Level Social Media Summit. And it's really, I was giving out all my favorite tips and tricks on strategies, not just a beginner, like how to start a profile, but the next level, when you're on social media, but you want to know how to elevate your presence, just that much more. And it was highly successful, but for me, it was truly stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm an introvert by nature, so
which you could never tell, by the way, on this interview. Just so we're clear,
I've just talked so much in front of people now that it's become more of a comfortable thing for me, but it took some training and some time. And if you asked me 5 years ago if I ever would have done something like that, I would have said no way. But it has really been a healthy thing for my business. It's really let people know what they didn't know. And
you get to educate and really teach people all that knowledge you've been acquiring for 23 years. It's funny what you know after 23 years, isn't it? That you take for granted. You're like, oh yeah, I guess that is kind of special. I don't think I remember that was special when somebody asks you a question. Right. Great story though. That's a really good story. What about the most challenging thing that you think you've had in your business?
So it's been somewhat challenging since I have done this work and gotten the extra exposure through the social media summits, that more people have been coming to me for work. And so the business has grown quite quickly, which has been a wonderful thing, but it has brought me to capacity, and I realize that I need some assistance. And so it's hiring on an assistant and the logistics of how to do that, you know, and how to train
make them
somebody
successful,
and make sure that they're a right fit, you know, and is this something I'm going to try out, or is this going to work long term? And it's just because I've worked on my own for so long that bringing on someone else is a very positive step, but, you know, a little bit scary.
It is. It's always scary. It's the biggest challenge, I think, for business owners, is how you effectively use people in your business, keep them motivated, and allow them to kind of grow so that they're taking your business brand on their back. It's a hard step. So the most exciting thing brought you the most challenging thing,
right?
It
did.
Getting out of your comfort zone of being an introvert and doing these great seminars on social media has given you the growth that everyone wants, and now we're at that step of kind of how do we expand into that success.
That's right, yeah.
It's not a terrible story, Karen.
No.
Not a terrible story. Not a terrible story. And so what's one piece of financial advice you would offer another business owner?
Well, my advice would be to hire on people who are have the financial expertise. You know, I like to do what I do. My work and writing and creating and building marketing strategies, that's what I love to do. I don't like to handle bookkeeping and accounting for my business. So I say hire a professional to handle aspects of your business that might not be where your skill set lies.
Yeah, especially on the financial side. And I will tell you, a lot of people say that to me. Like, sure. It's not my thing. It's kind of like going to the gym, Karen, right?
Yes.
You don't want to go to the gym, but you go a lot better when you got a coach. Right. So is there anything else that you think you want to add?
One thing I could say to business owners out there who are online or participating in social media is to be consistent. That's absolutely crucial. Is sometimes people will put out a campaign online and say, okay, well, I just did this, and they wait for the phone to ring. You know, you have to be consistent and build a following over time. So, you know, that's how I help people. It's if you don't have the time and resources to create content that people respond to, I can help with that.
So I've told Karen this story. I've told you this story, and I'm going to share it again. So I never was on social media before, like, November. I was very little on social media. I didn't really understand it. I didn't trust it.
Sure.
And I got onto it. And I remember the first week that we were posting stuff, I was like, oh, my God, people are going to come to my house, and they're going to take over, and it's going to be terrible. Because you really, that's what you're, like, that's sort of the mindset.
Well, you're putting yourself out there, right? So you have to be vulnerable in some respects, but at the same time, being authentic allows you to connect to other humans.
Right. And you told me that. You actually said to me, you know, you're a pretty relatable person.
That's right.
But that week I was not relatable, and nobody came to my house, just so we can be clear. In the first week.
It was safe.
It was okay. It was okay. So I got to the second week, and I have learned that the algorithms really work when you hire somebody like you, like when you really get somebody who understands content and framing and all that stuff that I don't really understand. Sure. I just do it.
Sure. There are a lot of nuances in how you set up a profile and how you schedule content out there and all of that thing that not everyone's aware of.
So you want to hire Karen to do that, because I am not a good person to do that. I'll take care of the details of some of the money, but I'm definitely not going to help with the social media. Thanks again very much for coming out, Karen, and doing this interview.
Thanks for having me.
Can't wait to hear about the success next year. All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right.